My name is Andrew Stotz from the Valuation Masterclass Bootcamp, and I have with me one of my leading students who's survived this far. Mayna, are you ready to present?
Yes.
Okay, so you've never seen this company before, right? This is your first time looking at it. You've had 2 weeks. You've created a report. It's incredible the amount of time you put into it. So now I think it's time for you to share what you found. Let me bring this report up on the screen here 1 second. And then I'm going to set everything up so that we're ready. And are you ready to go?
Yes.
Okay, so I'm going to leave now, and then you can start now.
Okay. Today we have strongly undervalued stock despite headwinds, and I expect a rebound for the stock to reach again 3 Thai bahts. Okay, I initiated coverage on PLAT with a buy recommendation based on a target price of 3.07 Thai bahts, implying an upside of 170%. I drive my target price of from the DCF-based valuation using a WACC of 9.3% and a terminal growth rate of 2%. Highlights normalized revenue growth due to tourism and economic slowdown, expected profitability decline due to the increasing cost and project openings. The Platinum Square project could push up higher debt levels. For the risks, we have competition from online platforms and e-commerce, failure to complete the project's adaptability and flexibility in uncertain economic times. So the Platinum Group Public Company Limited is a Thai real estate developer focused on mixed-use projects, primarily managing large-scale retail centers like the Platinum Fashion Mall, alongside hotels like Novotel Bangkok, Maxi Hotel, office spaces, and food and beverage centers, aiming to support entrepreneurs and deliver sustainable growth in commercial property in Thailand. So we have a question why the revenue growth is declining throughout the year in 2025. Let me tell you the answer. So Thailand had a tough year as it saw a 7.2% year-over-year decline in tourism, according to Bloomberg, which was the first annual drop in international arrivals in a decade outside the pandemic period due to safety concerns, geopolitical tensions, and weakening consumer purchasing power. Many Chinese travelers, which is down by 34% in 2025 compared to the pre-pandemic levels, scrapped plans to visit after the Chinese actor was abducted from Thailand to Myanmar in early 2025. A renewed bloody border conflict with Cambodia sparked safety concerns, and the impact of U.S. tariffs and stronger Thai baht resulted in high prices and costs for tourists, causing a shift towards alternative destinations like Vietnam. As a result, PLAT's revenue growth declined throughout the year until it reached a negative 0.6% in the third quarter of 2025. Additionally, Thailand's economy is projected by the IMF to grow by only 1.6% in 2026, which would be its weakest expansion in 3 decades, excluding crisis years. Therefore, I expect a continued slowdown in revenue growth in 2026 to 6%, down from 10% in 2025. Then I anticipate a period of recovery gradually increasing until 2029 at a CAGR of 12%. As the situation returns to normal, in addition, this could be supported by domestic tourism, which increased in 2025 by around 3%. And I expect this to continue increasing with government support. Next, expected profitability decline due to increasing cost and project openings. PLAT is experiencing faster growth in its total cost and SG&A expenses than revenue, with an increase in the third quarter of 2025 of 4.7% and 5.2%, respectively, compared to the third quarter of 2024, while PLAT's total revenue decreased by 0.6% compared to third quarter of 24. So I expect that with the opening of projects such as the food court, which will open in April 2026, and the shopping mall in 2028, and the Mama Shelter Hotel in 2029, PLAT would require more workforce, which would lead to higher costs. Therefore, the gross margin could reach 46% by 2029, down from 49%, and EBIT to reach 28% by 2029, down from 29.5%. Next, the Platinum Square project could push up higher debt levels. PLAT is investing a huge capex of 7.8 billion Thai baht in the Platinum Square project and has started the construction process, which has resulted in significant growth in the long-term borrowing by a huge 54%. Average growth rate of the second and the third quarters in 2025. As in the third quarter of 25, financial costs increased by around 12% compared to the previous year. Consequently, I expect the long-term borrowing to grow at a CAGR of 24% up to 2029 from 3%. And the whole project will be finished by 2029. However, the debt level could decrease to 35% of total capital in the fade period, which brings WACC to 10.7%. Next, looking forward to growth in the real estate market. The global commercial real estate market holds a value of $6.2 trillion in 2025 and is forecast to reach $8.3 trillion by 2030, registering a 5.9 CAGR during the period. By region, Asia Pacific is the largest market, which captured 32% revenue in 2024. Next, in third quarter of 25, PLAT experienced a revenue drop of 0.6%, a 2.6 year-over-year decrease in gross margin, and a 4.1 year-over-year decrease in net margin, which reflect the tourism slowdown and the economic slowdown. We can see here the net margin is falling and operating margin also, and the ROE. Next, market is the major constraint. The market landscape is moderately competitive and is becoming more competitive with new players such as fintechs entering related service industries, which increases pressure on traditional business models. The Thai real estate market has specific laws, especially concerning land ownership. Next, hotel business is leading the way. And hotel business income contributed 49% to PLAT's total revenues. Rental and service income totaled 42% of the revenues. Food and beverage income 8% and other income 1%. Next, for the FVMR, PLAT ranked neutral relative to 720 non-financial companies in Thailand, considering fundamentals and valuation momentum and risk. For fundamental, ranked neutral due to the low return on equity relative to the other companies in Thailand. For valuation, it's above the average as it trades on low PE and price to book relative to other companies. Next, rivalry among competitors and bargaining power versus customers have the lowest ranks. We can see here that as some technological disruption going on the industry is negatively affecting industry. Both the hospitality and retail industries are facing strong technology disruptions, with digital transformation being a critical factor for survival and competitiveness in both sectors. And rivalry among competitors scored 40%. Bargaining power versus suppliers is higher than bargaining power versus customers. We can see that it would generally be difficult for large international hotel chains like Novotel and Marriott to backward integrate into most of their numerous supply streams. Then, for bargaining power versus customers, demand is elastic in this industry, and there are many alternatives. So, bargaining power versus customers, we have 40%. Threat of new interest has the highest rank, as the industry requires huge capital investments, and it will take time to increase the occupancy rates to reach economies of scale. We have the threat of substitute, 47%. Next, WCB. Profitable growth consistently ranked in the top 30% among 410 small real estate companies worldwide from 2023 to the past 12 months. Profitability is the core strength, as it has ranked in the top 30% for the whole period, which is driven by the world-class performance of asset efficiency since 2024. Next, for the ESG, the company has a good profile for ESG. So we have in the environmental, the company participating in waste mixing at this mall, we can see, and paper usage decreased by 16%. Next. Social also ranked 100%. The company has a high profile in this governance. Governance has a negative point as PLAT provided that at least 33% of total directors shall be independent directors. But below that percentage is below the 50% average in Thailand. Next. Here we could see revenue that will reach 4.3 million Thai bahts by 2029 as the tourism sector recovers. Next, we can see cash and short-term investment increasing as the company is increasing debts heavily, and the account receivable is will be it will worsen this year, okay, and they start to recover by the next years till 2029 as the situation gets better. Next, here we have the capex. We have a higher or increasing capex in the following years, and by 2028, where the Platinum Square project will be finished, it will start to drop, and in 2029, continue drop as the Mama Shelter Hotel will be finished also. Next, for the relative valuation on the forward 2026 price to book multiple, PLAT looks cheaper compared to the state sector in Thailand, Asia, and the global market. And also PLAT trading at a significant discount based on the 2026 price to book to ROE multiple, which indicate that it's strongly undervalued stock. Then, PLAT trades a significant discount to the real estate sector in Thailand, Asia, and the world on the forward PE multiple, as we can see. So, for the valuation, I assume a risk-free rate of 3% and a market equity risk premium for the Thai market of 9.5%. PLAT has been a high beta stock, so I assume a lower beta of 1.25 further in the future, resulting in a cost of equity of 14.9%. I forecast a capital structure with around 47% debt to total capital. This results in a WACC and discount rate of 9.3%. I use a low terminal growth of 2% and free cash flow to the firm before as PLAT has significantly increased its debt levels to finance the large capex needed for the Platinum Square project. And in my case scenario, I anticipate a gross margin of 47.6%, leading to a value of 3.07 Thai bahts based on the free cash flow to the firm methodology. This represents a 170% upside. In my sensitivity analysis on the following page, the optimistic case assumed a gross margin of 49.6%, resulting in a target price of 3.2. Conversely, in the pessimistic case, the gross margin is assumed to be 45.6%, yielding a value of 3 Thai bahts. Okay. This sensitivity analysis, we can see free cash flow here to the firm. So, for the risks, main risk is the competition from online platforms and e-commerce. The growth of e-commerce and online shopping remains a major competitor of shopping malls today, especially in the consumer goods and fashion products groups that can be easily and conveniently purchased online. Therefore, revenue from shopping malls could be even lower in the future than expected. To wrap up, we have a strongly undervalued stock despite headwinds, and I expect a rebound and to reach again about 3 Thai bahts or 3.07 Thai bahts as it dropped from that level. And thank you.
Excellent. Excellent. Okay, so we've got a lot of questions, and I have some questions here. Okay. So right now, price to book value is about 0.4, right? That's what you're showing on this front page. EV to EBITDA is about 3 times, which is very cheap. Both of those are extremely cheap. I'm not so worried about PE because earnings has dipped a bit, and so that's a little bit more sensitive. But what we can see here is that the valuation is very, very low. Why do you think the market has such a low value on this company?
We're talking about the fair value right now of 3
So,
bots.
yeah, the market has it priced at, the market is pricing it as 1.14 baht.
Okay.
You're saying 3 baht. Why do you think they're so negative on the company? Let's not talk about why you're positive. I understand that, but let's talk, why do you think they're so negative?
Okay, there's some event that happened, as we discussed, in the country and in the sector specifically. One of the reasons that the tourism sector is high volatile and the industry, so they prefer a stable sectors, even, or we can say when something safety concern, geopolitical tensions, that will affect the stock for sure. And another point that the company have ROIC or have generates ROIC lower than the WACC. So it's another reason why the price to book value is so low.
Okay, so let's go through some questions. The first one comes from Momin. Hey, Momin. He says, given the high risk rating and high beta of 1.25, how does the valuation change if the WACC increases beyond 9.3 due to rising interest rates or higher cost of debt? Maybe you can go back to the valuation page, go back to the sensitivity page for a second, and let's look at sensitivity. Okay, sensitivity one.
Just a second. Okay. Sensitivity one.
Okay, so let's just look at the cost of equity. So he's talking about how does valuation change if the WACC increases? So the cost of equity in this case, we'll use that as a proxy. So let's say cost of equity right now, you're estimating 14.9, it's going to go up to 16.1 if Momin is right. How does that impact the free cash flow value of the firm?
We're talking about if the
look at the table.
Okay. Okay, we're talking about cost of equity.
Yep. So let's say the cost of equity goes from 14.9 to 16.1. What happens to the free cash flow value?
It will decrease.
From what to what?
From 3.1 to 2.8.
So it will fall, but it won't fall, enough to make it, it's still attractive to you. So the answer in that case, Momin, is it's still attractive. Okay.
Yes.
Let's look at the next one. This is from Surya. Market data suggests average rental rates in Thailand are declining. Have you factored this in your revenue or pricing assumptions? Are you expecting declining or rising rental rates?
Rental rates?
Yep.
Okay. Can you say that question again?
What do you think is happening? What is your expectation on rental rates? What he's saying is rental rates are falling.
Yes. I think rental rates is falling at least for this year and will start to recover for the next years with the expected recovery of tourism sector. So we'll have a higher demand.
Okay. And let's look at the next one from Momin again. Momin's got a lot of questions for you today.
Okay.
You expect revenue growth to slow to 6% in 2026 before hitting a 12% CAGR through 2029. What specific catalysts besides normalizing tourism will drive that sudden double-digit acceleration of revenue?
Okay, it will increase gradually, not in a sudden, I expect from 6% increase about 3 or 4% every year. So it increases gradually as the situation will recover gradually, and tourism sector, or we're talking about tourists, they will build their trust gradually even, and they will come again. So this will take time. And it reflect in the revenues and to increase gradually.
Okay, let's look at the next one. Even after tourism and margins recovered, PLAT share price, this is from Arush, PLAT share price kept falling, right? So there's some structural issues that market is penalizing beyond COVID. What significant thing has changed now that would lead the market, let's say, or you, why should we see this as a buy now? Because as he said, there's been a recovery in tourism and margins have recovered, but yet share price has gone down.
Okay, the stock dropped this year due to the events that we talk about, or the situation we are talking about, the crisis or geopolitical tensions, like bloody conflicts. So that's normal to drop the stock, and it's a volatile industry and sensitive industry like tourism sector. So it's a natural thing to happen, and the stock started to consolidate since we're talking about July, start to consolidate and stop its dropping.
Okay, and next one, could PLAT step up its market share after its success on Platinum Square project?
Okay, can you say it again?
Can Platinum step up its market share after its success on the Platinum Square project?
Yes, for sure. If Platinum succeeded in this project and returned good amounts, so it will reflect on the stock, and investors will have a good trust in the company and in the stock, or the future returns they will have higher expectations.
So this is from Arush also. He says, what assumptions in your model would have the biggest impact if they turn out wrong? Like, what's the biggest risk of your assumptions in your model?
You can say the biggest risk is the revenues, that it won't recover, and the geopolitical tensions and the slowdown and weakening purchasing power continues and take a longer time. So this is the bad scenario. So we are talking about 6% or 5% this year, a drop. So it could drop more than that rate. So it will have a bad effect for sure.
But even if someone was to buy it today, it's already trading so cheap that maybe that's already priced in. So let's see another one. This is from Prowl. Prowl says, you describe a situation with falling tourism and a slow economy, yet you predict a massive 170% upside. Can you explain what affects this share price explosion that you're coming up with?
Okay, this is a temporary situation. Okay, we are not in the normal case, okay, of the company or the normal year. We have a lot of negative things that have a bad effect on the company and in the returns. So despite all this, it achieved like 10% revenue growth this year. So with the recovery the next year, or the situation become normal again, it's normal that we see the stock price go up again, and also stock price dropped significantly from 3, so it dropped from that level. So it's normal and it's logical that it can rebound and reach again that level.
Okay, more questions. You got a lot of questions tonight. With online shopping as a main risk, does PLAT have a specific omni-channel or digital strategy beyond just mobile app to keep their physical retail centers relevant to younger consumers. That's Moment again.
Yes, it's working on making app or making it hybrid between online and offline shops to benefit from the ongoing trend.
And
so the next year will be better.
Okay. And Arush comes back and has a good question that tries to take us away from just looking at the current situation. And he says, what are the main drivers of Platinum's earnings over the next 2 to 3 years? So let's think longer term. Forget about the recent situation. What's happening longer term, and what should we expect in relation to earnings and the drivers of those earnings?
So next year we have a lot of things, or a few things. We have the domestic tourism starting to increase again and have a larger contribution. As we see, this year was, we can say, a bad year, and the net domestic tourism increased by 3%. Despite that, household has high debt levels, and the government is they are working on encouraging the domestic tourism, okay, and decrease these debts. So and they are making local initiatives to stimulate
And
this.
Besides local
again.
tourism and foreign tourism, what else is happening for Platinum over the next 3 to 5 years? Let's say, it's what's coming online. What is their potential?
Okay, I think that the Platinum Square project, if it succeeded in 2028, or they have or they made a good marketing, okay, and the safety, or we can say the country became stable again, okay, this will be a stimulant for foreign tourists to come again, so that will increase the tourism revenues.
Okay. James Main says, great analysis. That's nice. And Salban says, thank you so much. All right, let's look at some other questions, because they just don't stop coming. I'm just gonna I'm gonna skip through some of these because you've already addressed some of them. So let me see it. So what is, this is Arush again, and what is the risk that Platinum is over concentrated in one area of Bangkok? Sometimes that's a good thing, sometimes that's a bad thing. How do you look at it?
It's a bad thing when something happens in this area specifically, or tourists. So we'll talk about this area. We can say that traders come to have good prices, okay, or retailers come to have good prices. So even the economic situation have an effect on this area, okay, and they now facing or people are saying that they are having higher prices than previous period. So let's now have a negative effect. This area become less competitive for now. So I assume that they will take corrective actions for this.
What about what are the risks? This is a good question about what are the risks of competitors outpacing PLAT or gaining market share relative to them?
So can you say it again? Sorry.
What's the risk of competitors? I mean, we have a lot of competitors in the retail space, but Platinum's not really in retail, so there's not too worried about those competitors. But what about other competitors that are trying to compete with Platinum to grab this wholesale market?
So let's say the competition is fierce. It's a fact. But the main factor that will determine this is that if platinum will differentiate or make or target a specific groups or like the groups who are interested in the health, okay, or office, yeah, okay, we are talking about interesting or specific groups, okay. So if platinum succeeded in reaching groups or differentiate in area, specific area, okay, this will mitigate partially of this risk.
So how does it feel to complete this assignment?
Yeah, so fantastic. I've put a lot of work and a lot of hours. I didn't sleep. I slept like 1 hour, so
Ugh.
I forget now.
You're like moment. It's always like that. What did you learn from this assignment of valuing platinum? Here's this Thai company. You don't know anything about it. You only have 2 weeks. It's not like it gives a huge amount of great information, and yet you put in the time and you've come up with your report and your valuation. What did you learn from this experience?
Learned a lot of things, but the most important thing is linking or digging into details to reach out what the reason behind the decline in revenues that we saw in quarters. Every quarter have less revenue growth than the previous one. So to find out this, it was it took a lot of work, okay. But the most interesting thing that you or I learn to link between the economy and tourism and platinum. So you mix all these information, all this data, and come up with your stories. So
you're never going to forget the word platinum.
What do you say?
You're never going to forget the word platinum.
Yes, for sure.
And one of the things about you're 10 weeks through the Valuation Masterclass Bootcamp. You got 2 more weeks to go. You've pretty much always been at the top as far as the number of hours that you've devoted to it. In fact, since the last time you updated that, you've done about 39 or 40 hours per week for 10 weeks. That's 400 hours. How would you describe the transformation that you've gone through so far? Compare yourself from when you came in on that first night, the kickoff night when we first met, to 10 weeks later here with your platinum presentation. How would you describe your transformation?
It's massive. Yeah, I can say that. I was thinking yesterday about this. This was a huge transformation. We can say confident in the way of thinking and digging into details, and also self-discipline. I can say that I worked on platinum for 1 week, but it was an intense week.
Yeah. And what is your own personal goals about what you want to, your future career?
Yes, I like to be an equity analyst, but I love to be, or I like to be differentiated, or have different point of views, or see what others cannot see. Okay, so I hope that I'll be a differentiated equity analyst.
Yeah, when I explain about the Valuation Masterclass Bootcamp, I say there's 3 unique things that you get from this course that you're not going to get somewhere else. Number 1, you're going to write 4 professional style research reports from scratch and present all 4. That's an incredible portfolio that you've developed of the quality work that you've done. And I think doing platinum is even more credible because there's not a lot of help out there. You've got to do it on your own. The second thing is you get mentored by me, so I help you to stay focused and really focus on where are you going to stand out and how are you going to get this story right. Anybody can plug numbers into a model, but to be able to shape that into a story and evaluation, that is point number 2 of what we say that you get in the Valuation Masterclass Bootcamp that you can't get anywhere else. And point number 3 is that we put you under intense pressure. And it's through that pressure, just like a coal is converted to diamond through pressure, you build confidence in yourself that you can perform at the highest level. Do you have any thoughts on those 3 things? 4 reports, mentorship from myself, and performing under pressure. How does that reshape you?
I used to build financial models or complex financial models as I'm a former participant in the CFA Research Challenge. But the most significant thing I loved here that I learned the strategic thinking, the stories behind numbers. So it's the most important thing I have learned, and it's the most valuable thing. And I remember the first session we had, you say, we are in a transformation. So I now can link this, or I can understand.
The Valuation Masterclass is about transformation, not information. And on that first night, when everybody hears it, they think, what the heck is he talking about? But after you've gone through 10 weeks, you can see the transformation. So I want to congratulate you on your success on that. It's not an easy assignment. This is a real challenge. And for the people out there, remember, this is not an investment recommendation. This is an assignment in a course to help people build competitive advantage in company valuation. And Mayna's on the track to build that competitive advantage in company valuation. And I want to encourage everybody else out there, if you want to build that competitive advantage in company valuation, join the next Valuation Masterclass Bootcamp, and you'll join that first session, and you'll hear me say, the Valuation Masterclass is about transformation, not information. Well done. And